is founder of Mixologist Sangue Misto, a web mag, a mentoring program, and a safe space community dedicated to the world of mixed people of any combination. And Métissage aims to help us to build confidence, make friends, and create a positive impact in the world. That's mainly what we're trying to do. Today here we are live with Hand Us Over the Mic. That is a very long story to tell you exactly how that born. But anyway, next time I will go on that. But let me just say that it's a new chat dedicated to provide inspiration, let's say, to people working on the front lines of the multicultural world, especially the people whose voice are unrepresented. So let us just go, make it brief. Maybe next time I explain to you better how we work and what we do, because today I'm so excited. I'm so amazed. I have a great guest. And she's laughing. You see her, she's laughing. Okay, she's Sarah Doneghy. Yes. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, thank you, Louisa, for having me. Thank you.
Finally we made it, right?
Yes.
From New York City, the Big Apple, to Venice, the floating city. Right? So how are you doing, Sarah?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Well, fine. Seeing you now, I'm really very excited. So I'm very happy.
Me too. Me
Good.
too. Thank you.
So Sarah, you are an actress, right?
Yes.
You are a writer.
Yes.
I read that you write a lot for Washington Post.
Yes.
Okay. And then you're also a performance artist. But mainly you are the sparkly creator and host of Mixed Messages. That's beautiful. Can you tell us something about Mixed Messages?
Yes. Mixed Messages is a talk show where each episode a guest discusses their personal mixed race experience. Yeah, with me. So it's a conversation I have. Just knowing how they grew up, how they identify, what happened. Yeah.
Let us just say that is the American version of Métissage Sangue Misto, no?
Yeah, so far. So far. So far there's only been American people, but yes.
Yeah. But here we're trying to if I could speak all the languages of the world, I would put inside everybody. But okay, we just try to make it English Italian, because more or less, I'm living in Italy, so I try to put inside everything. That's nice. That's nice. Good. So, Sarah, one of the most impressive things I was glazed about reading your presentation is the fact that you use your background in drama therapy, I see, and you used to act and improvise with some type of patients, like, for instance, hospice patients, I read, and human trafficking survivors, teenagers in psychiatric hospital, right?
Yes.
Okay. And all this, you made it in Tanzania. Am I mistaken?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
How come you arrived there in Tanzania? What took you there?
Oh, okay, Louisa.
It's a long story.
So, I had always wanted to go to Africa and to be able to share art with people who wouldn't necessarily be able to experience it. So this is 2019 that I went. And I was in school where you make your own program, right? And then you get the credit and you construct your program. So I said, I want to go to Africa. I want to work with children who wouldn't necessarily get this, and I'm going to go. They're like, oh, no, you're not, whatever. So I met with a woman who had been my drama therapy teacher.
Okay.
She started to look for me and help me find different organizations that did this. Now, how do I explain? So I went through, so I found, let's fast forward for a month, we're doing this. So I found an organization, right?
Good.
That knew a person, that knew someone else that might have a place for me to go and do this in Tanzania. So I said, yes, let me go. So I did. 36 hours, like 3 different planes, I go.
Wow.
And the people, so the people I met with, I stayed with first, was an art therapist, a woman art therapist, and her husband, a doctor, who were Italian. And so the first day I'm in Africa, they give me like pasta, like all of the Italian. I'm like, of course. So that was fun and funny. But I stayed with them in Dar es Salaam, the capital.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you for having me. And the woman said, Sarah, what is this organization I'm hearing of? And I'm like, the organization you work for. And she's like, I don't work for an organization. And I'm like, what? She said, no, I don't know anything about that. I'm like, so you don't know where I'm going? And she said, no. Like, so she had a friend that knew someone that had this orphanage that I could stay at. But it was through no one, nothing, no organization. So I said, well, I'm here. Let me go. So after a week with her, I go to Mwanza and I go to this orphanage and I say, where are the other volunteers? And they said, we don't have volunteers here. You're the only one. And I'm like, okay. So no program, nothing. Just me finding this place. So I stayed for a month in the orphanage. And it was a wonderful experience. And I had to I had to learn Swahili at night and then go and work with these kids. And I just it was incredible. It was wild because there was no program, there was nothing, that like I was just making this up.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and it changed my life, and I worked with around 30 kids who all lived there, and just seeing how people live and how much this meant to them, and living like that myself, like it changed me. I loved it. I could have stayed there another 3 months. So that's what happened.
That's the real effect that Africa in general does to people, because you have what it means, the real life, because sometimes you are in front of situations where you have to be you have to find a way to survive, and most of the times you don't know even how to manage, how to, for instance, from a wire, you can create a spoon just to lick a soup. So all these things, I can understand you very well, because, I live in Nigeria too, and I know what's the meaning of all these things. So really, I relate with you.
Yeah. And I couldn't have prepared myself. The kids, I've never seen anything like that. Like, I know America is rich. I know this, but I have never seen, these kids were sick, very sick, and they didn't have tissues to wipe their nose. They had to get this clothes to wipe their nose.
Yeah.
And it was just like this thing. And I mean, but I will say I grew up in West Virginia, which is very country.
Yeah.
And we grew all our vegetables, and I knew how to, and we did our laundry and hung it on trees. So when I got there, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. So I picked the vegetables. I made this soup with them and just did the washing and hung it on trees. And it was just, it's amazing how you get in a situation and you immediately are like, okay, here I am, let's do this. So yeah.
You were talking about richness before, no? But it's a different type of richness what you get there, you know. It's really a deep type of richness.
I did not want to leave. And there were no phones, no TV. And so when I came back to America, I did not want to be inside this apartment. I saw these white people on cell phones.
That was, I was telling you before about large spaces, you see. So when you live in a big city and you have been in large spaces in other countries, when you come back, you always feel a sort of situation that is like suffocating, no?
Yes. I had to. I'm sorry, my Zoom there. My Zoom picture went off. Yes, I felt it was a lot. It was a lot to come back.
Yeah. Good. So usually when I watch your videos, the mixed messages, I always love when you start your conversations with your guest and ask that famous, and for me it's very ambiguous question. What are you? No. Today I'll just change it. Okay. And simply, I just want to ask you to tell us about your background and how do you define your, let's say, racial identity?
Okay. Okay, so my dad is Black and American, and my mom is white from England.
Okay.
And I grew up in West Virginia, which is a very small place in America. I identify as mixed race. I do think it's important to maybe in America, I think it's important to let people know what you're mixed with sometimes. But I identify as mixed, Black and white.
Okay. Is it difficult for you to express yourself when you are asked which mixture? Because some people also ask you, what are you mixed with? Like if we're marshmallows mixed.
I know. And the thing, is it difficult? It depends on how they ask. And also, and I know I'm talking to you, so I know you know, but when you give an answer, so what are you, Black and white? No, what else? You can't be. Oh, I never. So even when they ask and you tell them, a lot of times it's not good enough. So it depends on how far people want to go. And sometimes if people say that to me, it's like I don't feel like having this conversation with a stranger.
It's true.
Know, yeah.
But let's say in your case, your mom and your dad, okay, white and black, right? But they have the same culture, yeah? That's, you grew up, no, they don't have the same culture. Oh,
No, very different.
uh-huh.
Very different. Because my mom, we are the only Americans. The rest of my white family is in England.
Okay.
Yeah, so even now, I don't know if what I'm doing is part of being white or part of being English or part of being white and English. So, but so I have mostly I mean, the culture I know in America is Black American culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, because sometimes, you try to choose one of the two sides on which you prefer to stay, or maybe you are more aware of, or you're more confident, So I used to ask my guests how they used to connect with all the cultures they have over time. And if there are, this is the curiosity I usually have, if there is, or there are circumstances in which you change how you identify racially, it's something a bit common, I know that, but I wanted to ask you if it happens to you too.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like growing up, since we were so far away from England and that family, that my mom really wanted us to have English traditions. So not necessarily white,
Yeah.
but England. But I think for me, the older I got, the more I actually wanted to connect with both sides and actually really figure out what my culture was, like what I had been taught, because my mom's family is all in England, and then my dad's family is all around. His parents were divorced. He was an only child. So I have cousins here and cousins there and cousins. So I really started to connect with my Black side as I got older and learn what culture I had and maybe what culture I was missing. Yeah. And the same with England. I would go there once a year and just be with family and think,
yeah,
do I do this, and is it English? Or yeah. So I had to look for my culture and know what it was.
But usually you don't used to interchange, let us say. No, you don't used to sometimes you feel more, you want to play, then you say, today I'm only English. Tomorrow you say, no, I'm only American.
No, can't. Yeah, and when I go to England, I'm very, very American. And when I'm in America, they're like, why are you doing this? Why do you talk this? Yeah.
That's a normal thing, I think, for everybody of us mixed,
Yes. Yes. For so many, often, like you said before, are they from the same culture? And also being multiracial goes with multicultural.
Yeah. I think nowadays also there is a great difficulty to talk about race, because many people doesn't want to talk about this anymore. But it's something I'm interested to this one. What do you think about this situation? I mean, are you one of the people that are saying that we're supposed to remove that word from the dictionary? Or according to you, it's important to talk about race because we are in a society where we know it's a social construct, okay? All of us know race doesn't exist, but it's the base of how we are living So what do you think about this? According to you, is it to erase it, or is it to continue and change the narration maybe of what we intend by race?
Talk about it, 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 nonstop.
Yeah. Thank
nonstop.
you.
I mean, if you look, it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about it, but
Yeah.
it's going to be there. And when people are like, but race is a social construct. Okay, but it's here.
Yeah, yeah. That's
you
it.
you can say whatever you want to say, but you know, we have to talk about it, and it's gonna come up. Like, you saw the American election.
Yeah.
You saw who got elected and then who got elected after.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to change it, you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, for people who are uncomfortable with it, I need to ask why.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be sad or angry or heavy, but if you want to change something,
exactly,
and if you want to change yourself,
yeah,
you have to talk about it.
Thank you.
You're ignoring everything.
Thank you. I'll follow you on this path. Thank you. Yeah. Good. And now I was thinking, you know, I was reading your resume, and I was so amazed, because at a point you started to say, you were explaining your special skills, and you say that you are writing, you write sketches, you write songs, okay? And I loved the part where you say that you taught theater in Italy without knowing Italian. Then you taught improvisation in Tanzania without knowing Swahili. So what you were saying also before. But my curiosity was, this shows the how we are mean to be adaptable in every situation. I think it's a particular that all of us mixed people have, because it's natural, living in many cultures, it's natural for you to be adaptable in the situation. So I just wanted to know, how did you handle this situation, and how did your mixedness impact on your work? Not necessarily the one you went in Tanzania for, but your general work, the one like actress or any kind of other type of works you used to do.
Okay. So for the Italy not speaking Italian.
Okay, Dad, you say ciao. No, that's when you say it, right?
Yes. Oh. It's 12 years ago now, and I saw a job, and they said teach theater in Italy. I think, for 3 months, 2.5 months, whatever, to children. So I sent my resume. Okay, and then they called me back, and they asked me more questions. Okay. I never thought I would get this. So then they said, you're hired. And I'm like, well, I should tell you now that I don't speak Italian. And they said, that's okay, you'll learn, come. And I'm like, all right. Now, when I got there, I will say, so I did the training, and then I stayed with a family who I fell in love with, and still my family. I've gone back and stayed with them. But I was teaching theater to kids who were 5 and 6. And what I learned was, because I'm an actor, I talk with my hands a lot. And in Italy,
Yeah.
people talk with their hands a lot. And that was interesting because all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I can follow what you're saying with this. And I pick up a little bit. And so the kids are like, da 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 baño. And I'm like, see, you know, so it worked just because the kids, we could follow each other and learn that. So I did it that way. So that's what happened.
That's great. That's really great.
It was great.
I was so curious about this because, you know, it's a particular thing that it dropped my attention because I said, okay, you are inside a situation you can communicate apart with maybe hands, how you said it, or maybe with eyes, but no, it's something special because it's not everybody
thank you.
Can stay in a situation like this with a natural sense of belonging, let's say, also to the culture you are in, right?
Oh, love the culture. Oh my God. I really when I stayed with the family, it's a mom and dad and son and daughter. And the dad said, Sarah, what do you like to eat? And I'm like, everything. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, okay. And so after 2 weeks, I'm eating. He was like, Sarah, you eat everything. I'm like, yes. And the food, oh my God. For a month after I came back to America, I just did not want anything because my taste buds had erupted and it's so fresh and so good. And then coming back here.
So you understand when Italians go around, even in Alaska, they ask for a plate of spaghetti because they don't eat anything else.
Yes. Yes. I was like, and like, I didn't understand though. Yes, now
it's
totally.
clear. It's clear
Totally,
for you now.
totally.
Good. And going back to what you were saying before, what were your parents' attitudes towards race while you were growing up?
I wish my parents had spoken more about it.
Mm-hmm.
And where I grew up was very racist. Mm-hmm. And we were the only mixed race family. Mm-hmm. And then there were maybe 2 or 3 Black families, and then that was it. And my dad is from West Virginia, and he grew up in segregation. So he grew up like that. And I just think they thought that maybe it was over, or because it wasn't as bad as what he went through, we wouldn't need these lessons as much. But I was exposed to racism at a very young age and called things by both kids and their parents, all through being, you know, a child to a teenager. And it was bad. And a lot of times I didn't even tell my parents because I knew how sad it would make them.
Yeah. I can understand that very, 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 very well. Really.
Okay. Well, it's nice to have someone that understands, but I hate that someone else understands. Because I see your face, and it's just no child should have that. So
but you know, you go back in memories, you know, sometimes you think that you have passed all these issues and these troubles, because they're big troubles. So you start to push them inside, and you have the illusion that you have forgot them, no? But maybe you are somewhere, let's say in a shop, by mistake, somebody say a word that reminds you all those things that you have experienced. It's a terrible sensation. So each time I hear my people, let's say, because we are all our people, telling these stories, I feel really, really, really a deep sadness, because it's something that I can relate very well with, and you can never forget it. You can never forget it. And in a certain way, we are even privileged, because our type of darkness it's a bit more, let's say, passable, no? But I can't think during, for instance, the segregation time, or even the racial problems we have nowadays, not really, doesn't need to go so far back. I can understand, but deeply, 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 I think there are some situations that are worse, because people, I saw situations where, for instance, people were spitting even because of the color of the skin of the others. And anyway, situations that for now I I don't want to remember, because it's really painful. Just I wanted to say I relate with you, and I understand very well what you're saying.
Well, it's interesting, and I will say this, and I'm sorry, because now you're saying, but you just said something and I didn't even think about. The first time I went to Italy, I was 11, because my aunt and uncle were living there from England. They were working there. And I had people spit on me, and they threw their cigarettes on me. But it wasn't until, Louisa, and it's weird because I hadn't thought of that in so many years. And the other night, just like 2 weeks ago, I wake up and I'm like, oh, that was racist. Like, not, like, and my parents knew and my aunt knew, but they never told me and talked about why these people were doing that to me.
Yeah. And I think also there is a great difference between the type of racism you have in America and the one we have here, for instance, because here is very, it's very teen, sometimes it's not really pushing in the front, you sometimes you don't understand really if it's racism or if it's just something that they want to pass through ignorance, but it's not ignorance, because what you're telling me now is a demonstration that these things happen even worse in a country that we are saying also that is the most democratic country. We're a melting pot, because Italy is really a melting pot since the back history, because we had mixing of Arabs, mixing of Asians, history, let's just say Italian, but we call it Roman, and going back. Okay, so what happens here sometimes, it's you in one way you learn how to recognize, even through when somebody is feeling sympathetic towards you, the most time it hides a form of racism. Okay, and I believe it's very painful, that one too, because you can't tell the person, look, you are doing something racist, because he can't even understand that under his own smile. He thinks he's smiling, or he's joking with you in the color of your skin, or he's telling you something that for him is normal, because it's just a joke.
I know.
But you understand what I mean? I mean, many people are saying, no, I'm not racist, but.
Always. Once you have to defend, yourself about not being racist, you are.
You see, you see.
But I will say, the thing is that, and I have goosebumps because I remember when I went to Italy and taught in the school, and it was a very good experience. But I knew that people would question that I'm Black and white to the point, and I would never do this now. I mean, it's 12 years ago. It was much younger, but much more tolerant.
Yeah.
And so I'm a bit embarrassed to say what I put a picture of my parents and me in my bag because I knew, because when I went out and met the students' families, I knew who were mostly white, who were all white. I knew they would say, no, you're not Black. And so I remember showing them a picture, and then they said, oh, so you rap, Sarah? You rap, or you can dance? I'm like,
you can dance, fantastic.
Yes, but I would never do that again. I would never feel the need to say, look at this picture. You can see that you can see that I'm Black and white. So but I did when I went there the first time.
Yeah. Anyway, we have touched also this. We have get this. Well, at this stage we can even talk about the dilemmas of being multiracial, to have a multiracial identity. I don't know, for instance, me personally, when I think about how people used to approach me, many of them will come out, for instance, for that phrase that is so glorious. Oh, you look so exotic.
I saw that on your website.
Whether I'm a banana, whether I'm pineapple, whether I'm a Popeye, I am.
Yes,
I'm hanging on the tree, so you see me so exotic. I hate. Really, it's something I hate. Really. So, according to you, what's more annoying of all this way of approaching us?
That's interesting that you're mentioning that, because people don't think if they're giving us a compliment that it can be racist. All right. People, I'm touching your hair because I love it so much. It's beautiful. But no. Yeah. You just asked to pet someone's dog, but you feel okay to do this, and
I'm a lion.
yes. And but when they say you're so exotic, like a compliment, if we get upset, angry, it's like, you're so rude. I was saying something nice. So I think it's even harder and more annoying, because it's more of a conversation and exhausting to be able to have to tell people, yes, that's racist, that's offensive. No, I was being nice. You think you were being nice, but you weren't, because we know what you meant, and it doesn't matter how much you admire my skin, or that you can't figure out because I'm so ambiguous, and it's not a compliment. It's not nice, and it hurts just as much for me. Yeah. No matter the form it comes in.
But it's strange they have the freedom, or they think to have the freedom to approach us like this. I don't think they will approach, they're similar at the same way. So what I don't understand is okay, you want to make a compliment, but are you sure that's your real aim? Because you don't make the same compliment to, I don't know, the Swedish lady, whether you
Yeah.
say, wow, you look so Viking, or I don't know what.
Exactly.
No,
It's like, what is this look?
yeah,
This
no.
like, yes. Yeah.
Why is it always in the combination black, white
Always.
Japanese, white Asian? You always have to bring out this matter of, it's. I feel it's even a form of sexualization, because it's like if you're telling me, even many times they thought I was the dancer at the lap dancer in the nightclub, because I don't know whether all of us are working in the nightclub. That is what they have in their head, especially here in Italy. When you're a bit Latina, they would think you are Latina. So maybe you're working on, you can make other type of jobs. Maybe, I don't know.
Whoa. I don't know this.
This is terrible, because really, and
Interesting.
they don't give you the seriousness of your appearance, and
Yeah.
what only maybe sometimes when you open your mouth, when you start to talk, when you start to put things straight. And I hate to do that, because it's like if I'm talking to small kids, you're an adult, you're supposed to, if you're conversating with me, you're supposed to understand the person you have in front, and don't always be judgmental. Everything. Oh, so I was so surprised, and I'm still at my age, because this I started when I was a teenager, but still now, I always look at these people when they come out with, you're so beautiful. You look so exotic.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah. Why can't it just stop at you're so beautiful?
Yeah.
Like that's fine. Yeah. Great. I will take that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. It's really, and like you were saying, I don't think I have ever once had the motivation to say to someone, what are you? Like, I never. It's really odd. It's really weird how especially strangers have to know. I must know. I mean, it's just strange.
Well, maybe that's changed their life. Maybe they will feel better once they know that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, I'm free. I know.
We say, yeah, Sarah is this, Louisa is that. Well, I will sleep well this night.
I know.
Oh,
exactly.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
It's
so
weird.
All these things, anyway, enter in the discussion I wanted to make to you about even microaggressions to, I wanted to know how you usually react when but you said that before, so
but there's a new one that's been happening, and now there's one that I have a son, and he's 2.5, and he looks people probably assume he is white. He is light.
Yeah.
And people have assumed I'm his nanny. His babysitter.
Classical.
And this I was not prepared for, because what are you? Okay, you look so exotic. It's about me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand yet. But yeah, in front of him, they say, oh, who do you work for?
Yeah.
And you look at his face, it's my face.
Yeah.
That one is a new one, and it
touches you, because when you have children, you have kids, life it's expanded, so if it's something regarding you, how you say it's okay, you can handle it. But if it's regarding also your kids, your children, the people near you.
Yeah, this was a new one. Yeah. But the microaggression, and there's so many, and I don't know if it is the same, in Italy because people thought I was the maid, the housekeeper in the place I worked at, and I was just like,
but you are lucky. They didn't say you are a lap dancer. Not anything to say about lap dancers or but you know.
I don't know.
No,
They
but
may, but I don't know. Yes,
no,
yes,
because,
but you're right. That's the same kind of thing.
no,
Yes,
because maybe in America, lap dancers are professionally dancers, they're artists. You know, in Italy, lap dancers are more considered, what can we say, that a special type of dancers, let's say that, you know,
yeah.
entertainers, let's say, okay? So that type of dancers, it seems, is only mixed. Well, only mixed people are making dancers. I don't know why. According to them.
Not so in America. Not so. Not so.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah. Now, talking about mixed race, our people, let's say that. Do you think there is a stereotype of what it means to be mixed? Something that some people can say, oh, those people are mixed because so. What can it be according to you?
The stereotypes?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest ones is that, I mean, so many, we're confused.
Yeah.
For me, I have heard I'm not light enough to be white, not dark enough to be black.
Yeah.
That we have no place to be.
Mm-hmm.
We we have the best of both worlds. World, exactly. I mean, and so those are just some. I mean, but and there's I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there are also the ones in the literature like Tragic Mulatto.
We can talk about that.
we can go.
And that still crosses over to this day.
Yeah.
Because with the Tragic Mulatto, it was just like the Jezebel, and like you're saying, the lap dancer, the exotic dancer, Louise, that comes from Tragic Mulatto, because Tragic Mulatto women were supposedly sexual and threw themselves on white men.
Yeah.
But at the same time, unlike the black women, they hated themselves. The white in them hated the black part. Exactly. That was sexual, apparently, and that the only time they could be truly happy was when they died, because they were struggling with this forever. Yeah. I did a whole research project on this for about 6 months. So you're right. The Tragic Mulatto is even today, which is where you're right. The exotic dancer comes in. Yeah.
Really. Yeah. That's nice. And then there are also the fact, I don't know whether you have ever experienced the colorism too. Talking about, especially because the white people, we know that already, but especially from the other side of our mixedness, I'm talking about, of course, mixed black and white, but I think it can happen also for I have some Japanese friends, mixed Japanese friends, that have the same problem, because historically they are not accepted as mixed. Yeah. So what do you think? Have you ever experienced colorism, or the fact that maybe, you like me, maybe we are more white person? Is it something that touches you, or what do you think about it?
Yes. The article I wrote in the Washington Post is about this.
Okay.
But I can share some things. I mean, I do think we have to recognize our privilege, Like there are things that like sometimes people know I'm Black mixed with Black, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
An interesting thing that you bring up is that we are often assumed because of our skin to be white. And what has happened with me is that when white people have thought they're talking to another white person,
Yeah.
they have said very racist things around me, not thinking that I'm Black. And so then I say, I'm half Black or I'm Black. And they're, oh, I wasn't meaning to be racist. Oh, no. But so I think one of the privileges, is that we hear things that people who were darker would not hear because they would not say them around people who were more apparently mixed or Black. But as far as there are things that I'm sure if I were darker, maybe I would not have been let into or invited into, or also there's just so many, you think it's small, but I'm telling you, I can pick a makeup foundation off in the pharmacy, in the drugstore, and it will fit my skin. People with darker skin can't do that. And so there's privilege, there's lots of privilege in that too. So, but yeah, I think being white assumed, we often are subjected to things that we wouldn't be if people knew.
But looking at the other side of the medal, let's say that, in the Black community, for instance, have you ever experienced some type of not being accepted in the community because you are not one of them or something like this? Have you ever experienced this type of things?
Yes. Yes. Not in fact, like and it's hard to know, like, sometimes if they're speaking about me or not. So I was in a play a few years ago, and it was an all-Black cast, and I was cast as mixed, but they were saying that they knew these people in another theater. And I said, oh, I don't know those people. And they were like, oh, well, you have to be Black to know all the Black people know each other. And I'm just like, okay, I see. So it's interesting how, depending on what you represent, how people define what you are for you.
Terrible.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, the famous Meghan Markle all of a sudden is Black. But, but that's because of what she represents now and where she is. But it's interesting how people often assign Blackness to you depending on what you're doing and where you are.
Bravissima. That's the point. That's really the point, because I used to think a lot of this, because you're not Black enough when they want you not to be Black enough. But you are Black enough when you are in a situation that you can be Black enough. That's Tiger Woods, that's Barack Obama, that's many others. Always like this.
Halle Berry.
Oh,
Mariah Carey. I know.
Oh, Jesus.
But yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Sarah, just other two small questions. So then I leave you your wonderful afternoon today. Here it's
Thank
already
you.
evening for us over here in Italy. I wanted to know, now this your mixed messages, your program. Two things I would like to know. Why did you choose the name Mixed Messages? What's the message? What's the aim inside those two words? And what do you want to realize with this? What do you want to make? What do you want to give the world with Mixed Messages?
Okay. All right. Mixed Messages, I thought was a little bit funny, just because we're all mixed.
Okay.
And some of our messages are the same and some of them are different. And this is like so similar and different, and messages is one of the things that are mixed, and also we're all mixed. So that's why the name.
Okay.
The goal is to share our stories, because you have Black history, you have Latino history, you have, solid stories about people. But what people don't know is that mixed race people don't just have a coming of age story. They have a coming of identity story. Yeah. And depending on what we've been through and what we see, the identity stories are always different. Yeah. How we came to what we identify as always has a different journey. Yeah. And I think that's a very important story to be told. Yeah. And I know growing up, we're talking about this, who did I have to look up to? Mariah Carey? Who looked like me? Yeah. No, I mean, it's very, very, very important for mixed children, mixed teenagers, mixed adults to see people that not only look like them, but understand exactly what they've been through, what they're going through, and what it's like. You and I just now, I hate that. It's important. It's important for us to share these stories with each other, but also with people who would never know. And people have said to me, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know this existed. And I think we have to also talk about the specific racism mixed race people experience, because often it's very different than anything anyone's talking about. So
you said a very important thing. This has to be underlined 3 times. Very, very important what you just said now.
So yeah, that's why I'm just connecting this community and putting our stories out there.
Yeah.
That's
okay. And the last, I just want to know what is the message, talking about mixed messages. What is the message you want to give the new generation of mixes? What do you want to tell them?
To be proud, to identify however they feel is right for them.
Good.
And to not let people tell them what they are, and to stand firm in who they are and what they are. That's my message. And to talk about it. Just talk.
I do agree with you. I relate. I'm with you, Sarah. Okay.
Yeah. And they don't owe anyone anything. You don't have to answer what are you ever.
Confidence, always confidence, because we are exactly like others. Maybe a bit more rich, maybe because we have a lot of things inside, but we must value and appreciate that.
Yes.
Right. Good. Sarah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Louisa.
I hope to see you again on this.
Me too. Me too.
So I thank you again. Okay.
Thank you.
And I greet all the people following us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And we will meet next time. Bye to everybody. Bye.
Bye.